Hey everyone, my name is Emily Green and I'm an EMDR trained psychotherapist here in Central Florida. Today's mini mental health check-in comes in from my son's room at home. He's got the best lighting, if you believe it, on this really dreary day. But thank you for being flexible as we all are during this time. So today's mini mental health check-in is about binging behavior. And what I'm really excited to share with you is are the underlining forces at play that really do drive binging behavior, to give a better understanding of why this problem can just be so powerful and destructive, either for yourself or someone that you may know and love. So when we're talking about binging behavior, we're talking about anything you can overdo. We human beings are really good at overdoing just about anything. But some of the most common areas where people really do struggle are in overusing food, drinking, drugs, sex, masturbation, shopping, gambling, and any kind of entertainment. So right now, the whole binging thing that's really kind of common and we're all joking about is Netflix. So you can see something as innocent as watching TV can even turn into a big problem. So I want to look at and share with you some of the driving forces underneath it, because I think it'll really help give that, well, hell's bells, like, no wonder this is such a problem for some people, or no wonder I just keep doing this thing that's driving me crazy. It's hurting me and the people I love. And why can't I stop? Binging behavior, one of the most, I think the heartbreaking parts of it is it's a pattern that almost in most cases seems like it's a prison that people are stuck in. So I'm hoping that this will help kind of show you the bars that are invisible that might feel like that keep you trapped in, so that you can have just more space to be able to start recognizing, what all is going on, so that it's just not this, well, for a lot of people that struggle with binging, it's this, there's something wrong with me. I'm just a failure. I'm completely powerless. And those kinds of, takeaways that on the surface might make a lot of sense, they really do disempower people. So I'm hoping that this information is empowering and helpful, and is in no means an excuse to just keep on doing what you're doing. But it's, for me, what I find, it helps people shift from a very critical place to a more curious and compassionate place where, believe it or not, we're able to create more positive change when we're curious about our experience than when we're really critical. So binging behavior, no matter where it's showing up, if it's food, drinking, sex, food, all of the things, shopping, gambling, it's coming from, the driving force behind it is your survival defense, and it's the specific strategy of the flight function. So what's survival defense is, and what the heck is the flight function? I'm so glad you asked. Whenever you are, or I am, feeling scared or stressed or overwhelmed, when there's some kind of threat, if it's real or perceived, I'm going to go into survival mode. Survival mode, if you remember your window of tolerance, is when you are outside your window. And again, you can be outside up, like in a really anxious or panicky place, or you can be outside down in more of that like depressed, despair place. So no matter where you might be, your survival mode goes on, and it has several strategies that can be activated to help you get through that time. So in this case, when we're looking at binging behavior, it's the flight part that's activated. The flight part is activated in an attempt to actually help someone get through something that is either stressful, overwhelming, or scary. So the flight function can be kind of hard to maybe see in binging behavior, but let me give you a maybe more clear example. So if I'm walking, and say it's kind of like the end of the day and I'm all by myself, and like the hairs stand up on the back of my neck, and I hear something and it sounds like someone's behind me. So I'm rightfully gonna go into eek mode, and I'm gonna go into survival mode. So my flight function might show up as me booking it out of there. I'm running away. I'm running away from something that is threatening me to a safe place. The flight function gives me access to the resource of space. It's taking me away from something that was scary or threatening, and it's taking me away to safety where I can feel safe and then come back inside my window of tolerance. Whenever we're in survival mode, the whole point of it is to help us. However, sometimes the way that we get activated, and some of this comes from patterns that we've, come into for all kinds of reasons throughout our life, the application of the strategy or the activation of either of these can in turn, yes, help, but it can come at a high cost. And we can see that binging behavior certainly does that. Because if you think of drinking, for instance, if I'm really stressed out and I'm like, I got to have a glass of wine and I'm going to watch, an episode or two, that glass of wine might have taken the edge off of my anxiety. That episode, one, really could have given me just a nice break from all the stress and the news and the scary stuff going on in the world right now. However, because of the addictive quality or nature of these behaviors like drinking and watching TV or shopping or eating, we just keep doing that thing. And we can recognize that as the flight part, because the flight part is trying to get us away from something. Binging behaviors give the body a really quick relief from whatever is overwhelming, stressful, or scary. However, because it has a really short return, meaning that one glass of wine might have helped give me relief from my anxiety, but it was short-lived. And then because it worked a little bit, my flight part's going to keep chasing after that thing. So that means I'm going to have another glass, then another glass, or I'm going to have episode 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my goodness gracious, I'm into, season 5 on whatever it is, and on to the next as soon as that show ends. We can see from this vantage point that the flight function is trying to give us relief. It's trying to take us away from something that's stressful or scary to a place where we feel more comfortable and safe. However, binging behavior won't get us to that clear place where we can then calm down and come back to center where we're inside our window of tolerance, because if we're still activated and that flight part is trying to use binging behavior as a mechanism or a conduit to safety, it's just really never going to get there. And in the meantime, it's actually going to cause a whole new problem. It's going to cause more harm than it ever helped maybe in the very beginning. I hope this framework will really kind of shed some light on those underlining or those forces at play that really do drive problematic behavior that can create problems for people that really just take over their lives and make them feel like they're trapped in a prison that they can't escape. Being able to recognize that there's more going on than just willpower. There's more at work there than just someone's, sense of ability or capacity or motivation. I'm hoping that this will show you that there's so much more at work there. Again, not to give someone a free pass of like, hey, this is just how I am, or not to make someone feel like, oh goodness, look, I'm messing this up, but from a place that provides more space to take in information about your experience so then you can get curious and you can create those in those curious moments, what I call pivot points. Because pivot points we need to be able to look at what we've been doing, what we're struggling with, what are the forces that create that such a hard problem. And then in the pivot point, when we're curious, we can look at, well, if the flight part is trying to help me, how can I tweak that or change that so I actually do get the resource or gift within the flight part, which is space. So that's something that you can start to think about as, well, if I'm turning to drinking, or if I've noticed like, man, I'm just overusing fill in the blank, what's another activity or thing that I can turn to that is not going to have this hold on me? What's another way that I can creatively create the gift of the flight function, which is going to give me distance from something that's scary, which is going to get me space or take me away from something that's toxic, so that you can be able to react and respond to a threat, but be able to come back inside your window of tolerance. So I hope this information was helpful. I look forward to sharing more information with you, and I hope everyone stays safe. Thanks.